Hello, my name is Alyssa Alexandre. I am an MBA student, and for this organizational strategy final presentation, I shall be presenting on Best Buy. This presentation will cover the background of Best Buy, an external analysis, a SWOT analysis, the main strategic problem, research and development, a strategic analysis, solutions for the problem, and recommendations. Let's start with Best Buy's early history. Founded in 1966 as Sound and Music, their defining moment came in 1981. After a tornado hit a store, a no-frills tornado sale generated massive revenue, more than double the industry average. Recognizing this success, they rebranded as Best Buy, adopting their iconic yellow tag and warehouse-style format. Strategically, this perfectly illustrates dynamic capabilities. Best Buy sensed a new customer desire for low-pressure shopping and completely reconfigured their business model to capture it. Moving into the digital age, Best Buy acquired Geek Squad in 2002, integrating the tech support directly into its stores. A decade later, the CEO, Hubert Joly, saved the company from the Amazon effect through a massive turnaround focused on price matching. This ties into corporate-level strategy and product-related diversification. Best Buy realized that hardware alone couldn't be Amazon. Best Buy actively acquired service-based capabilities, like their 2021 purchase of Current Health, to diversify their revenue streams, even as they continue to refine their portfolio today. The external analysis will be conducted in two parts: the macro environment and the industry dynamics. As for the class concepts that we will be using, it is understanding the rules of the game through the institution-based view. Turning to our macro environment, we use the PESTEL analysis framework to understand the external pressures shaping Best Buy. Politically and legally, it is highly constrained by U.S. import tariffs on Asian electronics, which directly squeeze profit margins. Economically and socioculturally, its reliance on discretionary big-ticket items makes the organization vulnerable to downturns, requiring a strong corporate social responsibility program to build loyalty, as well as their main base being in the U.S. with a few international branches. Technologically, rapid innovation creates a constant risk of holding obsolete inventory, forcing heavy investments in cybersecurity and data-driven marketing. Finally, environmentally, they combat waste through their Greener Together recycling program. All of these external forces dictate its strategic boundary. We will now take a look at the industry dynamics through Porter's 5 forces. Best Buy's official industry is an electronics and appliance retailer, and it is a publicly owned company within a highly competitive industry. Best Buy has intense rivalries with giants like Amazon, who squeeze Best Buy's profit margin, as well as a few other big box stores. Secondly, suppliers have very high power. Best Buy relies on a few big brands such as Apple and a few others for their products, meaning they have a low to moderate diversification within their supply chain, allowing their main suppliers to dictate pricing and expand on their own direct-to-consumer stores. Third, the buying power is strong of customers. This is due to zero switching costs and instant price matching, as well as the flexibility of the omni-channel approach of in-store buying as well as online buying. Number 4 is quite a strong threat. Because the world no longer needs hardware as much as they used to, smartphones and cloud streaming is starting to replace the old way, making Best Buy less relevant. Finally, the threat of new entrants remains low due to the massive capital required to replicate Best Buy's footprint and the Geek Squad network. Ultimately, these factors demand a strategy of differentiation, not just a cost of leadership. Moving to our SWOT analysis, Best Buy's core strengths are its massive brand recognition and its physical store footprint, which gives consumers that critical hands-on experience with new tech. They also do a great job managing profitability during tough economic times. On the flip side, their weaknesses include losing market share in legacy categories, like the TVs and major appliances, as well as heavy vulnerability to import tariffs. Looking ahead, Best Buy's biggest opportunities lie in upcoming tech launches, like the Nintendo Switch 2 and there's an expected acceleration in replacement cycles for older laptops and phones. Finally, the main threats they face are ongoing tariffs, uncertainties, unpredictable shifts in consumer spending, and intense pressure from big box giants like Walmart, Costco, and Home Depot. This brings us to Best Buy's main strategic problem, which is tepid revenue growth and margin compression. Two external forces are colliding to drive this issue. First is slowing customer demand. Persistent inflation has reduced discretionary spending, thereby extending replacement cycles for big-ticket items such as major appliances and home theaters. The second is cutthroat industry rivalry. Best Buy is constantly losing its market share to giants like Amazon and Walmart, who use massive scale to severely undercut prices. In short, Best Buy cannot win a race to the bottom. If they rely solely on traditional hardware sales, they risk being squeezed out of the market entirely. For Best Buy, R&D means digital transformation. It relies on open innovation and strategic alliances. Instead of building AI from scratch, they partnered with Google Cloud and Accenture to develop a generative AI virtual assistant. It's important to note that they are not planning on replacing human workers. They use AI for employee augmentation, giving support agents real-time sentiment analysis to solve problems faster. Finally, Best Buy uses data-driven personalization to accurately predict your next device upgrade, ensuring a highly customized, proactive shopping experience for you, which ties into analytics, using data for decision-making. Moving to physical research and development, Best Buy uses its stores as a live testing laboratory, demonstrating the concepts of dynamic capabilities. They actively experiment with digital-first layouts and micro-fulfillment logistics. Recently, they transformed into an AI-focused tech gateway by building vendor-funded showrooms for intimidating new technologies. Using the BCG matrix, Best Buy is currently funding 120 pilot stations to test high-growth categories like EV chargers and augmented reality. They use these pilots to see if they can lift conversion rates before committing massive capital. Now we will go into a two-part strategic analysis. Part 1 will be strictly financial, and Part 2 will be strategic pillars in which Best Buy relies on. In our financial analysis, we see a story of strategic resilience. While total revenue declined 10% from 2023 to 2025, it is now stabilizing. Gross and operating margins have actually improved despite these sales dips. Gross margin rose a little bit over 1%, and operating margin has increased about 0.2%. Total shareholders' equity recently grew by 5.56%, and both free and operating cash flows remain highly robust. There was a major surge in 2025. However, there was a slight dip in 2026 compared to 2025, but outlook looks promising. So Best Buy has been able to maintain these margins despite top-line revenue pressures, which proves that they do have a sustainable competitive advantage when compared to weaker retail rivals. Non-financially, Best Buy excels at managing the triple bottom line, balancing economic, social, and environmental goals. Economically, their paid membership program called My Best Buy reached 8 million users, which drove intense loyalty. Environmentally, they run America's largest retail e-waste recycling program, processing 2.7 billion pounds since 2009. Socially, they have developed a program called Teen Tech Centers, which empowers youth within tech education. Best Buy has embraced a broad stakeholder view, investing in communities and the planet rather than just catering to shareholders. Now we are going to look at how to solve the main problem. To solve the issue of margin compression, Best Buy must pivot away from cylindrical hardware sales and focus on recurring services. We can map this solution using 5 core strategic concepts. First, they must embrace a differentiation strategy. As mentioned earlier, they cannot win a race to the bottom on price alone against stores like Amazon. So they must compete with unique hands-on store experiences and expert advice. Second, they must leverage their VRIO capabilities. Their massive Geek Squad network is valuable, rare, and hard to imitate. Integrating these agents into their paid membership programs drives incredible customer loyalty and recurring revenue. Third, they must pursue product-related diversification. Although it didn't work out as they had initially hoped, Best Buy did successfully attempt to expand into a different sector like Best Buy Health, going from one-off device sales to a highly predictable health tech subscription. Fourth, applying the BCG matrix. It's absolutely necessary that they start to let go of dog products such as physical media to free up more space on the floor and capital for high growth stars such as virtual reality ecosystems. Lastly, they must deploy dynamic capabilities to sense and seize new opportunities. By investing heavily in AI and in-store micro-fulfillment, they can seamlessly match the speed and convenience of their rivals online. My first recommendation is to create strategic brand partnerships with Best Buy and some of its key suppliers. If Best Buy can successfully secure partnerships, they can work together with their suppliers to create limited edition products that can only be bought at Best Buy. Some examples of this could include having different colors or different designed branded iPhones, Beats headphones, or maybe even a Nintendo Switch. This strategy creates a psychological sense of urgency, driving immediate purchasing decisions also because of the limited nature of the products. This could encourage people to buy new devices even if they don't quite need them yet, as well as giving Best Buy an edge over other competitors who might not have the same type of limited edition device. My next recommendation is to create strategic alliances. Rather than working against competitors, Best Buy should work with them. Best Buy could do a B2B sale where they could sell their services to other main competitors of Best Buy who also offer technology. Best Buy could work as the intermediary and send the Geek Squad out to help with installation or any technical support that a customer might need with their purchase from the competitor. This creates a value add for their competitors to offer their customers. It also gives the Geek Squad an opportunity to create an ongoing subscription just in case the customer is only interested in the initial installation at first. It gives them a chance to try to sell the customer directly to buy a Best Buy subscription. It's a win for Best Buy and a win for the other competitors. My last suggestion is a little bit of a crazy one, and I would advise Best Buy to look into it, but be precautious. I think it would be cool if Best Buy went back to their roots and did a tornado sale. We understand that Best Buy's offerings are highly elastic. This means in terms of economics, when an economic downturn comes, demand will end up decreasing. Most companies would hike their prices up, but what if Best Buy does the exact opposite, like it did when the tornado happened when it was first being founded? If Best Buy even keeps steady prices or does a slight decrease and knows they can make their margins, it would be a strategy to keep people buying Best Buy products, even if the economy is uncertain. Not to mention, it will contribute to the brand story, as well as create some noise from a publicity standpoint, as a story like this would probably get covered. I feel like it can be done if enough research is put into it and could be a successful option to bring in customers. In conclusion, Best Buy has had a long history of innovation and pivoting to be a strategically successful business. Just like any business out there, they did run into some problems, such as slowing consumer demand, margin compression through slow revenue growth, as well as having some intense rivals to compete with. However, Best Buy has put in a lot of research and development to constantly try to change to be successful in the environment that it was given. You can see this with the current rebound that is happening with the margins, even though it was an issue earlier on. Best Buy could further differentiate its product through limited edition partnerships with other brands, creating exclusivity so people go to Best Buy other than other retailers to buy a certain product, or converting their rivals into allies through B2B sales of Geek Squad services, or even pulling a surprise publicity stunt to make people buy more Best Buy products during economic downturns by having a tornado sale. Best Buy has become a master at reinventing itself. And the next chapter is already in motion. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed. These are just the sources for this presentation.